So, hey guys, today we're once again talking about tower sponsors, and I have realized this revolutionary technology, this not so one of a kind strategy. So, if I were to summon, let's say, the rival at Ignister, this is pretty simple to out, and we're going to be looking at first from a perspective of before Fiendsmith, and this will matter later, and you'll see why, but alright. So, let's say I summon the rival. Okay. Most people, the only out to this will be Underworld Goddess, right? And apparently, there's just someone that runs 2 Underworld Goddess for some reason. Couldn't tell you why, but alright. So, even if you were to run 3 Underworld Goddess, you're limited to 3 Underworld Goddess, but you know what I'm not limited to? I'm not limited to just making 1 tower, so it doesn't have to be the rival, because the rival's kind of obnoxious to make. Like, barely. We could instead, let's say, make Blackwing Full Armor Master, for example. Or we could make some of the Raid Raptors tower sponsors. So, yeah, we could make like Ultimate Falcon or Rising Rebellion Falcon. If we slap, just for example, Ultimate Falcon and Rising Rebellion Falcon, you can't out this with a single Underworld Goddess. If you had 2, technically you could, I guess. Well, what if our entire board was literally just this, you know? Well, this is like the extreme version, but more than likely, I think just having 2 different Towers monsters would be enough. But yeah, just for the sake of being extreme, if I drop 3 copies of Ultimate Falcon and then 3 Rising Rebellion Falcon on my endboard, how will you get rid of all of them? Surely you can't get rid of all 6 of my, well, towers monsters. No evenly matched. Oh, yeah, hopefully no evenly matched, because that would do it. Multiple evenly matched would be really hard to deal with, considering I have 6 of my main monster zones being taken up by towers monsters, but okay, that aside, this would be the extreme, and you know, the expectation is just you know, what if we just drop 2 towers monsters onto the field? That's probably enough, I guess. And then 1 Underworld Goddess, or so you would think. But then, with the Fiendsmith stuff, this is a light fiend, so yeah, this is recyclable. And also, you can just keep sending this with Fiendsmith Engraver, and then Fiendsmith Engraver can recycle this as well, assuming you don't have anything to link this off with, but you probably will. So yeah, there goes that plan, I suppose. So yeah, but we'll just pretend actually perhaps Underworld Goddess will not be an issue sometimes. Well, sometimes it isn't. So we're going to have to take a look at a fresh new perspective, but again. So Underworld Goddess, kind of problematic because Fiendsmith specifically. But aside from that, you know, just 1 Underworld Goddess, not a big deal. So this got me thinking, if we were to look at the Malice decks in general, there is not much going on here, actually. In terms of ways you could out Towers monsters in this deck, well, you can out these guys by battles still. So that is problematic, and if I were to just drop Rising Rebellion, Falcon, and Ultimate Falcon, it's not going to work against Malice, right? So new plan, we're going to not play any of these guys, and we'll take a whole new approach. So if we look at specifically the big guys that you can run here, we have Heart Scripter, which if you banish, you will special summon it and double its attack, and then you have Dormouse Effect, which allows you to gain 600 attack on all of your guys. And then the field spell has an attack gain effect as well, giving you 3000 attack if you play all 3 traps. So that puts Heart Scripter to 5000, 5600, and then 8600 attack points. So that can run over a 6 material arrival. So obviously these options are just not going to really work. So the other thing we could look at is, of course, if we have like an Appaloosa or something, we can link that off for access code, and then that is a 6.3k access code, I believe, which is also enough to run over a 6 material arrival. Kind of disgusting. So making the two towers well, yeah, doing a 2 tower strategy here, or 3 towers. How many towers? That doesn't really matter. That doesn't really pan out here. So yeah, not great. But next thing we're going to have to look out for is the fact that even if in theory we had 100,000 attack point towers, assuming we can't, well, actually, yeah, there is something preventing you from taking battle damage, I think, somewhere. Yeah, you take no damage from battles involving mouse link monsters that point to this card. And does this affect player? Oh, wait, what? This affects monsters? Oh wow, Towers monsters aren't affected by this. But, you know, let's assume for some reason you have an 100,000 attack point Towers monster that can't attack for whatever reason. Don't worry about it too much. Terahertz actually has this disgusting effect called, oh, with an E. Anyway, Terahertz has this disgusting effect called you can just send a Cyberse monster from pretty much anywhere and gain 2,500 forever. So, yeah, this could reach like 1,000,000 attack points given enough time, and you can actually recycle cards with Hard Scripter, so this unironically can get there. So, yeah, the traditional towers approach, that's not going to work. So instead, we're going to go with Chaos Angel. So, we're going to summon Chaos Angel, and if you notice, Chaos Angel covers your bases a little bit better than, well, against Malice specifically, it'll cover your bases a little bit better. So what we're going to be looking out for is, of course, we don't want to be destroyed by battle, and we also don't want to be affected by their monster effects like Hard Scripters, so they cannot remove our Chaos Angel, right? But, you know, just one Chaos Angel isn't enough. So now the issue with Chaos Angel is it is affected by spells and traps. So this allows our opponent to do a couple of things we're looking out for here. Potentially infinite impermanences, and of course the very much searchable Malice in the Mirror that is also recyclable technically. And then there is the removal with the MTP07, which is problematic because this is able to just remove our Chaos Angel, or Chaos Angels if we want to be plural here. So if we make 2 Chaos Angels, both with light and dark monsters, that's fairly hard to outstill. So if we are looking out for MTP07 here, we can't really be protected from 07, but this will take care of at least the Malice in the Mirror, because Malice in the Mirror will only be able to negate 1 Chaos Angel, and the protection effect of Chaos Angel applies to all your monsters, including your negated Chaos Angel if it is negated, right? So it will still be unaffected. Well, both of your Chaos Angels, even if one will be negated, both will be unable to be destroyed by battle and unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. So now, this is where I started just having like, what's the word I'm looking for here? I started cooking, I suppose. So, yeah. Here, we have a bunch of collection of cards, like just a pretty random looking assortment of cards, right? And I realized quite a few things. So, first off, you know what? Chaos Angel's effect applies to any synchro monster, actually. So, yeah, well, that applies to Gimmeragre, which actually has the lovely effect here of face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn. Huh. So you're telling me if I activate Gimmer Agrin, I can never be, like, banished, nor can I be destroyed by a card effect. So that will solve one of our issues here, right? So now we're not going to be affected by MTP07 anymore. But issue, we will still be affected by Malice in the Mirror, which we can actually play around. So I noticed something with Chaos Angel just a little while ago, and that is actually that if you look at the summoning condition of Chaos Angel, it only requires specifically for you to use any tuner plus one non-tuner light or dark monster. So just for example, for the tuner, I could use Ash Blossom Joyous Spring, and then for the light or dark monster, we can use, let's say, Chaos Hunter. And that is a perfectly valid way to summon Chaos Angel. And then, while I was looking for a way to make Ice Jade Gamer Agrin here, I noticed this required specifically a water tuner. And then I realized with this as well, uh, well, there are actually a bunch of generically makeable water tuners that you can make, like just for example, Coral Dragon, Ib, Tatsunoko, with no hard ones per turn on this card for whatever reason, Crystron Quandax, and then of course Deep Sea Prima Donna. The most notable one was Deep Sea Prima Donna because it has the effect right here. Your opponent cannot target a synchro monster that used this card as a material with card effects. Intriguing. So you mean a card like perhaps this one? Target one face up. Oh, you can't do that. Assuming I make all three of my monsters here, Chaos Angel A, Chaos Angel B, and Ice Jade Gamer Agrin with Deep Sea Prima Donna. Oh, you can't target any of my monsters, so Imperm, Malice in the Mirror, dead. Next, MTP07, dead. And running over any of these guys by battle, impossible. So the only way we're expecting to lose at this point, so since you can't remove any of my guys, you can't target any of my guys, the only thing you could do is main deck Forbidden Droplet and simply just open it. Good luck with that, I suppose. And that is assuming I don't go out of my way to play around that also, which I mean, if we're feeling particularly psychopathic, possible. But yeah. So here we have Agrin, Chaos Angel, and presumably another Chaos Angel. So now the reason we have two Chaos Angels is different from before. So we need to make Deep Sea Prima Donna here. We would need to make Chaos Angel with a light and a dark monster. So I looked through all of the light and dark monsters, and these were the potential candidates to make Chaos Angel with, because we needed preferably a light and dark monster that we could access, and we would want to access them together if possible. So I looked at it, and Dream Mirror technically has light and dark level 3s, which allow you to kind of summon each other, access each other, whatever. So with Neiroy here specifically, we have this Neiroy, which adds the light Neiroy, and then optionally you can make this card become dark, whatever. But if a Dream Mirror monster is on the field, so if this Neiroy adds this Neiroy to your hand, you can just special summon this, and then boom, we have our light and our dark Dream Mirror monsters. And then the other thing I was looking at was Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer with the ability to add two different Performapal monsters. So we can do, there were a few other targets, but we would do like add Lady Ange and add Extra Slinger, which are light and dark monsters. And honestly, I'm pulling your leg. All of this doesn't matter. I realized a while ago. Oh wait, dude, what if I just turn like Deep Sea Prima Donna into like a light or dark monster? Then I only need like one light or dark monster, and that's like way more easy, way more manageable than this. So yeah, I'm just joshing with you guys. Anyway, yeah, so all we have to do is technically make Ice Jade Gimmer Agrin plus Chaos Angel with a light or dark Deep Sea Prima Donna. So we don't have to summon or put onto the field Deep Sea Prima Donna like um, 3 times. And also while I was looking, Synchro Rumble, this can target any tuner in the graveyard and just special summon it back. So yeah, I was looking at making maybe Crimson Dragon to add Synchro Rumble, and that could add Deep Sea Prima Donna. And also, like, not fully related, but I also found this really dumb synergy. So let's assume on my field, I have Despian, Lulu with Lilith, and then we have Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon, if I were to activate its effect here, quick effect, you can target a level 7 or higher synchro monster on the field, except for Crimson Dragon, return this card to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon one Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level as the target monster. This is treated as a synchro summon. So what I can do with this is, if I have Lulu while Lilith plus Crimson Dragon, I can do Crimson Dragon targeting Lulu while Lilith, and then I can special summon back Crimson Dragon, and you can just do this like once every single turn. Like, this will technically be able to get you as many Synchro Rumbles as you want. Like, you can actually search a good amount of times with this, which is kind of goofy. So we could add like Scrap Iron, Sacred Statue, Synchro Overtop, Synchro World, extra copies of Synchro Rumble, which is kind of hilarious. And also, you can do this on your turn, your opponent's turn, main phase, anytime really. And this will also trigger the Despian Lulu while Lilith, which you can argue if it's useful or not. And then I have questions, so many questions about this effect specifically. But alright, you can make all monsters you currently control gain 500 attack permanently. And if you search for the word permanently, there are only 3 cards with the word permanently on them. We have Gravity Blaster and then Mechlord Deflection. And I don't even want to understand the rulings for the word permanently here. Yeah, because there must be some, like, what's the word I'm looking for, like, connotation with this, so I have just given up. But we'll just assume even if this gets negated, which it wouldn't with the board I have in mind, then yeah, we could permanently gain attack, making our Ace Jade Gimmer Ogren, our Yes Angel, and the Lulu Lilith itself become really huge, which is just something I want to share with the class here. But yeah. Aside from that, it's just a matter of finding the setup. So, yeah, Deep Sea Prima Donna, completely generic to make. I should Gimmer Agron because this is generic to make. This is technically also kind of generic to make. And then this. This is like the hard part where we have to make like Deep Sea Prima Donna a dark or a light. And then we still need a level 3 light or dark monster, which is fairly annoying, honestly. But let's assume we do get it done, I guess. Then the follow-up to this, we would simply have Ice Jade Gimmer Agron plus Chaos Angel. So this makes Gimmer Agron unaffected, not targetable. Chaos Angel not targetable, not affected by our opponent's like monster effects, and also neither of these can be destroyed by battle. And also, none of your removal will really work. If you do run, like, I guess a Zeus, but as, like, a spell or trap card effect, that would work, I suppose. So something like Kishtira Big Bang, except wait, that vanishes, but I guess a version of that sends cards to the graveyard, because Zeus technically doesn't work because it's a monster effect, but it's like a Zeus effect on a spell trap card, I guess. That would work if you have such a card in your list, which last time I checked, there's no such Malice card, so this can just do it, I guess. And then, it'll be really obnoxious to deal with. And the reason for making Deep Sea Prima Donna is because I looked through, like, all of the water tuners, and honestly, I think they just suck. So, yeah. I think Deep Sea Prima Donna is just going to be the play here. And even if we can't make it, just making a few of these guys isn't so bad either. So, yeah. I feel like I've been kind of looking with this one. So, maybe I'll make a deck using this concept in future, but we'll see, I guess. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.